Charles Bronson, originally known as Charles Dennis Buczynski, was a renowned American actor who gained fame for his remarkable performances in the 1970s and 1980s. He established himself as a dominant figure in the film industry during this period, primarily due to his portrayal of tough and resilient characters. Bronson's exceptional talent and versatility made him one of the most esteemed actors in American cinema. He effortlessly embodied hard-hitting roles and became an unrivaled star in the vigilante genre. Bronson's journey to success began in the coal mines, where he worked as a miner before serving as an Air Force officer. However, he soon discovered his true passion for acting and started his career by taking on uncredited roles in various films. Throughout the 1950s, he gradually earned recognition for his appearances in gritty crime and Western dramas. However, his breakthrough came with the film The Magnificent Seven. Throughout his illustrious career, Bronson continuously honed his acting skills and artistic abilities. He is particularly remembered for his iconic portrayal of Paul Kersey in the Death Wish series. Additionally, he delivered noteworthy performances in films such as The Stone Killer, Mr. Amidst, Hard Times, and Assassination. While Bronson's portrayal of tough characters earned him a reputation, it also led to perceptions of him as arrogant and even violent. However, amidst these perceptions, there has been a controversial rumor that has followed him since the beginning of his career. Today, we aim to uncover some hidden facts about Charles Bronson that have remained unknown to many. Stay tuned as we delve into these intriguing details, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to tell us in the comment section who you would like us to talk about next time. Bronson was born on November 3, 1921, in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania, a coal mining region located in the Allegheny Mountains of Pennsylvania, north of Johnstown. He was the 11th child out of 15 born into a Roman Catholic family with Lithuanian heritage. His father, Walter Buczynski, hailed from Druskininkai in southern Lithuania and belonged to the Lipka Tatar community. Bronson's mother, Mary, was born in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, in the coal region, and her parents were also from Lithuania. During his childhood in Pennsylvania, Bronson did not speak English at home, much like many other children in the area. He once shared that even as a soldier, his accent was so pronounced that his comrades mistook him for a foreigner. In addition to English, he was fluent in Lithuanian, Russian, and Greek. In a 1973 interview, Bronson revealed that he did not have a close relationship with his father and was uncertain about his feelings towards him. He mentioned that all he could recall about his father was that whenever his mother announced his return, the children would hide. In 1933, Bronson's father passed away, and he began working in the coal mines, initially in the mining office and later in the actual mine. He mentioned earning $1 for each ton of coal he mined. In another interview, he mentioned working double shifts to earn a mere $1 per week. Bronson also recounted the hazardous work he and his brother undertook, removing stumps between the mines, with cave-ins being a common occurrence. The family endured extreme poverty during the Great Depression, and Bronson remembered going hungry on numerous occasions. Due to financial constraints, his mother couldn't afford milk for his younger sister, so she was given warm tea instead. The family's financial struggles were so severe that Bronson once had to wear his sister's dress to school due to a lack of suitable clothing. Remarkably, Bronson became the first member of his family to graduate from high school. Bronson was employed in the mining industry before joining the United States Army Air Forces in 1943, amidst the turmoil of World War II. He dedicated his service to the 760th Flexible Gunnery Training Squadron, and later became an aerial gunner on the Boeing B-29 Superfortress with the 61st Bombardment Squadron, stationed in Guam as part of the 39th Bombardment Group. This group carried out numerous combat missions against the Japanese home islands. Bronson bravely completed 25 missions and was honored with a Purple Heart for the injuries he sustained in battle. Bronson portrayed a rugged character in films, yet his true nature was much more relatable. An instance of this was his profound fear of fire, a fact widely acknowledged. While shooting Death Wish in 1974, he adamantly declined staying in any hotel room higher than the second floor, fearing for his and his family's safety in case of an emergency. Additionally, Bronson was notorious for refraining from shaking hands with admirers. Although some interpreted this behavior as arrogance, it actually stemmed from his intense apprehension of germs, hinting at a possible manifestation of OCD. While, other than Bronson being terrified of germs and fire, like many actors during the 1950s, he was a smoker. However, what sets his case apart is that he started smoking at the tender age of 9. While the exact reasons behind his initiation into smoking remain unknown, some speculate that family pressure may have played a role. Coming from a large family of 15, with him being the 11th child, Bronson grew up in extreme poverty, constantly struggling to make ends meet. The financial hardships were so severe that at times, he had no choice but to wear his sister's dresses to school. In order to contribute to the family's income, Bronson began working alongside his father in a coal mine when he was just 10 years old. The early hardships and stress he faced during this time might have influenced his decision to start smoking. Tragically, his death certificate listed metastatic lung cancer as one of the causes of his demise. Apart from his being a smoker, many individuals believe that prominent Hollywood celebrities reside solely in the Golden State. Although this holds true for a majority, it was not the case for Bronson. Despite owning a luxurious mansion in Bel Air near Los Angeles, he dedicated a significant portion of his time to Vermont, where he resided with his wife Jill and their sizable family of 7 children. Additionally, during the 1980s and a portion of the 1990s, he would spend his winters in Snowmass, Colorado. Bronson's distinctive monosyllabic tone was a prominent feature of his performances, whether in The Mechanic or any of the Death Wish films. When film critic Roger Ebert interviewed Bronson in 1974, he encountered a man who was not inclined to engage in lengthy conversations. Bronson stated, "I don't ever talk about the philosophy of a picture. It has never come up. And I wouldn't talk about it to you. I don't expound. I don't like to overtalk a thing. Because I'm entertained more by my own thoughts than by the thoughts of others." Ebert, 1974. This attitude mirrored the persona that fans witnessed on screen. Furthermore, Charles Bronson achieved a significant milestone within his family by becoming the first person to complete high school. This accomplishment holds great significance when one takes into account his modest origins. Due to his parents' Baltic heritage, Lithuanian was his initial language. However, during his adolescence, he displayed remarkable determination by teaching himself the fundamentals of English. If you pay close attention to certain roles he portrayed in movies, you may detect a subtle accent. Lastly, Bronson's popularity in the United States was significant, but it reached even greater heights in Europe. In fact, it would be an understatement to say that he was immensely popular there. This was largely due to his remarkable performances in European films. One notable example is his portrayal of harmonica in the 1968 film, Once Upon a Time in the West. The director, Sergio Leone, once hailed him as the greatest actor I ever worked with, and had even considered casting him as the lead in the 1964 film, A Fistful of Dollars. However, Bronson declined the role, a decision that would later contribute to Clint Eastwood's rise to superstardom. In 1970, Bronson took on the lead role in the French movie Rider on the Rain, which went on to win a Hollywood Golden Globe Award. Bronson, originally known as Charles Buczynski, began his career doing odd jobs after World War II. He then joined a theatrical group in Philadelphia to paint scenery, which eventually led to minor acting roles. He shared an apartment in New York City with Jack Klugman before moving to Hollywood and enrolling in acting classes at the Pasadena Playhouse. In 1951, Bronson made his uncredited film debut as a sailor in the Navy Now. He went on to appear in films such as The Mob and The People Against O'Hara that same year. In 1952, he acted in various films including The Bloodhounds of Broadway and Red Skies of Montana. He also had television appearances, boxing with Roy Rogers in Knockout and sharing the stage with Red Skelton in The Red Skelton Show. Bronson played Igor in the horror film House of Wax in 1953, a role for which he learned sign language to portray the character. The film was a success, ranking 4th in the box office that year. It was later selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. In 1954, he appeared in Riding Shotgun and was praised for his performance, which led to him securing the role. Overall, Bronson's early career included a variety of film and television appearances, showcasing his acting abilities and gaining recognition in the industry. In 1954, Charles Bronson, known then as Charles Buczynski, appeared in several films including Apache, directed by Robert Aldrich, Tennessee Champ, Miss Sadie Thompson, Crime Wave directed by De Toth, Vera Cruz, and Drum Beat, directed by Delmer Daves. During the House Un-American Activities Committee proceedings, he changed his surname to Bronson at the suggestion of his agent. In 1955, he acted in Target Zero, Big House, USA, and Jubal, while also appearing on television in an episode of DuPont Cavalcade Theater. In 1956, he appeared in Sam Fuller's Run of the Arrow and began his role in Alfred Hitchcock Presents. In 1957, he appeared in episodes of various TV shows and starred in the Western series Colt Point for Five. In 1958, he starred in the biopic Machine Gun Kelly and the films Showdown at Boot Hill and Gang War. He also appeared as Butch Cassidy on Tales of Wells Fargo. In 1959, he appeared in the war film Never So Few and on TV in episodes of Yancey Derringer and U.S. Marshal. In 1960, he starred in The Magnificent Seven and appeared in various TV shows. In 1961, he had supporting roles in several films and was nominated for an Emmy for his TV role. In 1962, he appeared in the Elvis Presley film Kid Galahad. In 1963, he appeared in The Great Escape and For Texas and starred in the TV series Empire and The Travels of J.M.E. McPheeters. In 1964 and 1965, he had guest roles in TV shows and appeared in films. In 1966, he starred in This Property is Condemned and appeared in The Sandpiper. In 1967, he appeared in The Dirty Dozen, which was a commercial success. He also guest starred on TV's The Fugitive. In the late 1960s, Charles Bronson found success in European films. He was approached to star in the French film Adieu l'ami alongside Alain Delon. The film became a hit in France, earning millions at the box office. Bronson went on to star in several popular European movies, including Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West. In 1972, he began a successful partnership with director Michael Winner, starring in films like Chato's Land and Death Wish. Bronson became one of the top box office draws in the world, commanding $1 million per film. In 1982, he reprised his role as Paul Kersey in Death Wish 2, which was also a box office success. Bronson continued to star in action films throughout the 1980s, working with directors like J. Lee Thompson and starring in films like 10 to Midnight and Murphy's Law. He also took on a different kind of role in the television film Act of Vengeance, playing a union leader in a departure from his typical tough guy characters. Despite some critics' disapproval, Bronson's films continued to be commercially successful. He remained a popular star throughout his career, consistently commanding high salaries for his roles. During the early 1990s, Bronson made the decision to turn down the role of Curly Washburn in City Slickers. However, in 1991, he took on the role in The Indian Runner, a film directed by Sean Penn. This movie, starring David Morse and Viggo Mortensen, received positive reviews. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times praised Bronson's performance, stating that it showcased a quiet and powerful presence. Ebert also expressed his surprise, as Bronson had recently been involved in mindless revenge thrillers, leading him to believe that the actor had lost interest in his craft. However, Bronson's exceptional portrayal in The Indian Runner proved otherwise. In the same year, Bronson appeared in ABC's TV movie adaptation of Yes, Virginia, There is a Santa Claus, directed by Charles Jarrett. In this holiday drama, Bronson played a reporter who was tasked with responding to a letter from a young girl and her desperate family facing a bleak Christmas. Linda Renault of The Hollywood Reporter commended Bronson's performance, noting that he convincingly portrayed a distraught newspaperman, a role that was completely different from his usual typecasting. Moving forward to 1993, Bronson was paired with Dana Delaney in the CBS television film Donato and Daughter, directed by Rod Holcomb. In this movie, Bronson played Delaney's father, and both characters were detectives assigned to investigate a serial killer. Kay Godella, in her review published in the Gazette, praised the chemistry between Delaney and Bronson, highlighting Bronson's ability to showcase a warmer and more caring side than his typical tough guy persona. Delaney, on the other hand, delivered a crisp and efficient performance as a cop. In the same year, Bronson took on a role that went against his usual typecasting as the antagonist in Michael Anderson's television film The Sea Wolf, an adaptation of the novel of the same name. Christopher Reeve played the lead role in this film. Bronson initially had reservations about playing the main villain, expressing concern about the amount of dialogue required and the fact that he was portraying a truly evil character. However, Ray Lloyd of the Los Angeles Times praised Bronson's performance, stating that he seemed perfectly at home playing a thinking man's heavy. Bronson's final leading role in a movie released in theaters was in 1994's Death Wish v. The Face of Death. Following that, from 1995 to 1999, he appeared in a trilogy of television movies as Commissioner Paul Fain, the head of a family of law enforcement officers. These films were titled Family of Cops, 1995, Breach of Faith, A Family of Cops 2, 1997, and Family of Cops 3, 1999. In his later years, Bronson's health declined, and he decided to retire from acting after undergoing hip replacement surgery in August 1998. Charlie Buczynski's first marriage was to Harriet Tendler, whom he encountered while they were both aspiring actors in Philadelphia. They had 2 children, Suzanne and Tony, before their divorce in 1965. Tendler was only 18 years old when she met the 26-year-old Buczynski at an acting school in Philadelphia in 1947. 2 years later, with her father's reluctant approval, Tendler, a successful Jewish dairy farmer, married Buczynski, a Catholic and former coal miner. Tendler supported them financially while both she and Charlie pursued their acting aspirations. Despite having only 4 cents in his pocket on their first date, Buczynski, now known as Charles Bronson, went on to become one of the highest-paid actors in the country. Bronson later married English actress Jill Ireland on October 5, 1968, and their marriage lasted until her death in 1990. He first met her in 1962 when she was married to Scottish actor David McCallum. At the time, Bronson, who co-starred with McCallum in The Great Escape, allegedly told him, "I'm going to marry your wife." The Bronsons resided in a magnificent mansion in Bel Air, Los Angeles, and had 7 children together, 2 from Bronson's previous marriage, 3 from Ireland's previous marriage, including 1 adopted child, and 2 of their own, Zulika and Katrina, with the latter also being adopted. After tying the knot, Ireland frequently appeared as Bronson's leading lady, and they acted together in 15 films. In order to maintain a close-knit family, they would bring everyone along to filming locations so they could all be together. They spent time in a colonial farmhouse situated on 260 acres in West Windsor, Vermont, where Ireland raised horses and provided training for their daughter Zulika to excel in horse showing. During the winter holidays, the family often visited Snowmass, Colorado, in the 1980s and early 1990s. On May 18, 1990, at the age of 54, Jill Ireland passed away at their residence in Malibu, California, after a prolonged battle with breast cancer. In the 1991 television film Reason for Living, the Jill Ireland story, actor Lance Henriksen portrayed Bronson. In December 1998, Bronson was married for a third time to Kim Weeks, an actress and former employee of Dove Audio who had helped record Ireland in the production of her audiobooks. The couple were married for 5 years until Bronson's death in 2003. Bronson passed away at the age of 81 on August 30, 2003, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. While pneumonia and Alzheimer's disease have been mentioned as potential causes of death, they were not listed on his death certificate. The certificate cited respiratory failure, metastatic lung cancer, along with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and congestive cardiomyopathy as the reasons for his passing. He was laid to rest at Brownsville Cemetery in West Windsor, Vermont. Upon his death, film critic Stephen Hunter described Bronson as someone who exuded male life force, stoic toughness, capability, strength, and possessed an aura of ambiguity. Hunter noted that Bronson never became a great actor but had a knack for quietly dominating a scene. Bronson himself once mentioned to critic Roger Ebert in 1974 that he saw himself as a product to be sold, especially in the action films he was involved in at the time. Director Michael Winner praised Bronson's on-screen presence, stating that the camera seemed to respond well to his quality and strength, even in passive roles. Winner highlighted the depth and mystery that Bronson brought to his performances, always leaving the audience anticipating something more. Thank you for being with us today. Remember to show your support by liking and subscribing.